Hello dear viewers, you're watching RTD's English News Edition. Here are our top stories. A training workshop on heritage preservation was launched yesterday by the Minister of Culture. In the international news, Italy records a victory in Bergamo but remains cautious. Thank you for joining us in our newsroom. The Minister of Muslim Affairs, Culture and Wealth Property, Mumin Hassan Barre, had officially launched a training workshop on participatory inventory with the different communities, which was held on 26 December 2019 at the People's Palace and lasted until 10 January 2020 with the support of UNESCO. During this phase, some 15 facilitators were trained to better inform and guide the communities to better immerse themselves in and appropriate their intangible cultural heritage. This program was greatly disturbed by the COVID-19 pandemic and its considerable impact on cultural life. It was resumed on 24 June in 2020 with the meeting with members of the Arab community of Djibouti City. From 24 June 2020, with the participation of the Arab community, which concluded with the choice of a list of 10 elements to be inventoried, among with 3 elements were selected, namely al-Dukhun, al-Rakla, and al-Layliya. Subsequently, the working team in charge of the project conducted the necessary surveys and interviews with practitioners and holders. The first phase of its work took place in the district of Jebel under the supervision of the Director of Culture, Mr. Douali Hassan Ahmed, and the national expert, Mr. Idris Musa Ahmed, during which the practitioner demonstrated the know-how in the process of preparing the al-Dukhum component. The second phase of this investigation took place under the best offices in the Garden of Omboli, from where the Rakla dance and Layliya, both elements of the intangible cultural heritage of the Arab community, were presented on the spot in the presence of a deputy local elected officials and knowledge holders. The members present attended a grandiose event rich in cultural entertainment, singing and dancing, to which a dance troupe gave an excellent performance. During this event, the members present had the opportunity to visit the various stands, including elements of Arabic gastronomy made from dukhul and its various culinary accompaniments. The International Labour Organization Virtual Global Summit on COVID-19 and the World of Work, which started on 4th July, closed its work yesterday with a Constituency Day. Today's virtual meeting brought together ministers, employers and workers from several member states to discuss the implementation of the ILO Constitutional Declaration on the Future of Work in the context of the pandemic. The Minister of Labour in charge of administration reform, Mr. Ismail Ibrahim Roble, participated in a panel of 4 Building Back Better. This meeting allowed participants to exchange innovative ideas and discuss lessons learned from the COVID crisis in order to develop concrete plans to work together to implement a recovery that is a job-rich, inclusive, equitable and sustainable. At this virtual meeting, the Minister of Labour, Ismail Ibrahim Roble, delivered a statement on behalf of the African Group for the countries of the East African region, in which he highlighted the urgent and immediate challenges in the world of work and the African responses that have proven effective, as well as the process of building back better. COVID-19 on this Friday, July 10, 2020, the main data relating to the evolution of COVID-19 and epidemic in the Republic of Djibouti as follows. 18 patients have been declared cured, 800 tests were carried out, 13 tests were positive. In Djibouti, the pandemic has continued to decline for more than a month thanks to the efforts of the men and women who are doing a tremendous job on the ground. Health workers are not slow for cases by carrying out a massive testing and campaign. And now in Hol town, where new technical installation allowed the inhabitants to have a good reception of radio and television, which until now was impossible to receive in this locality. And following the instructions given by the Minister of Communication in charge of Postal and Telecommunication, Mr. Radwan Abdullahi Bahdon, and has provided for in its program to expand the means of reception of radio and television signals in the various localities of the country. A team of the RTD technicians traveled during this week to Holhol in order to remedy the problems of reception of radio and television signals, which penalize this locality and its population. It should be recalled that the reception of TV and radio program is included in the chapter of complaints addressed to the President of the Republic during his recent tour of the regions. It was therefore the task of the technicians of the RTD transmission services to identify the ideal position to fix and direct the best means of reception. It is necessary to know that the village of Holhol is, from the point of view of relief, presents itself as a kind of basin not easily accessible to the reception of radio and TV signals. This was the whole issue to be resolved for the technicians of the RTD transmission services in order to make a good reception, as Noah Abdullahi Miguel, head of the transmitter centers, explains. After weeks' works, the issue was resolved. He said they have installed new equipment to ensure a good reception of the radio and television signals here in Holhol. They have noticed that the signals from the installed ARTA transmission did not reach enough here in Holhol. So they have decided to install new equipment in these localities, and in the already established programs, they intend to install new equipment all over the country so that they can follow the national channel in the different localities of the country. Following these works, the audio-visual reception as well as radio and TV was available in the homes of the village of Holhol, as Miss Ginyo Ahmed's home, mother of the family, who is pleased to be able to watch radio and TV in her house. Mrs. Ginyo Ahmed thanked the President of the Republic for having given a good follow-up to the grievances expressed in passing during his tour to Ali Sabih. She expressed very delighted to watch at home the 7 national channels they follow, the news broadcasting, and connect to the world, and what was before difficult in addition to the whole population. The military school also benefits from this reception, which means that all military personnel can follow the programs and inform on radio and television. With this new installation of the technical services of the RTD, it is the atmosphere found in Holhol, and with evenings in family in front of the television, as well as for the families of the military. The Ministry of the Schools also expressed their satisfaction with the correction of the technical means of the reception. It is for them a source of entertainment and information that allows them to spend pleasant moments between brothers in arms. Corporal Liban Ilmi Miguel, soldier at the Holhol School of Military, said that they never had access to national channels in TNT before, but thanks to the efforts made by the Ministry of Communication at the head of the RTD Directorate General, they can easily watch the 7 national channels of the country. And they thank the President of the Republic, the Supreme Leader of the Army, the Minister of Communication, and their Chief of Staff, Major General Zakaria Sheikh Ibrahim. The different missions of the transmission service throughout the country will continue according to the program established by the Director General of RTD, and in order to guarantee to the whole population of the country an excellent reception of our radio and TV programs. And finally, it should be noted that the reception of radio and television coincides with the connection of Holhol on the electrical networks coming from Ethiopia, another chapter that we will soon tackle which propels Holhol in a new dynamic on the social and economic level. The city of Unity, Dikhil, hosted the official launch of the Youth Entrepreneurship Project on Thursday, July 9, taking part in this ceremony organized of the Regional Council of Dikhil, the Secretary General of the Ministry of Women and Family, Ms. Anisa Hassan Bahdon, the First Deputy Prefect, Mr. Yusuf Ali, the Vice President of the Regional Council, Mr. Ebo Mohammed Ebo. ROM, as a partner of the project, was represented by Mrs. Nada Mahmoud and Project Officer. In its implementation policy strategies for gender equity and equality and the promotion of institutionalization of the gender approach, the Ministry of Women and Family is based on entrepreneurship perceived as an alternative to the search for jobs, the growth of enterprises, and thus the economic expansion of the country. The objective of the entrepreneurship project is one of the means of combating poverty and youth unemployment by promoting the creation of income-generating activities in both rural and urban areas. Out of 100 projects identified and analyzed according to viability criteria in line with the economic potential of each region, 35 were selected and financed with IOM support. In all 5 regions, the beneficiaries of this project attended training sessions in entrepreneurship and project development. Finally, after the other regions, 5 young people from the Dakhil region received support from the implementation of their project. The Ministry of Women and the Family will consolidate this project by providing support over a period of 6 months to ensure their sustainability. In an interview he granted us, the technical director of the City Hall, Mr. Osman Abdi, has talked about the garage owners who carries out the car repairs, leaving behind their waste, especially in the streets and public places. He said that they asked the people who perform repairs on public roads without any permission to evacuate these places. For its part, the mayor of the capital will take all legal measures and necessary steps against all who oppose this matter. Regarding the animals roaming the streets of the country, they have taken the necessary measures to inform the owners to not leave their livestock on the streets. He then mentioned citizens who pour fresh water in front of homes or on the streets. This impedes the process of beautifying the country, he said, and preserving its cleanness and the beauty of the capital. The mayor of the capital is asking to remedy this act that also harms the health of citizens and residents on the national lands, with a view to achieving a comprehensive reduction of risks to health and ensuring health and safety of everyone. And we also confirm that any person who violates these orders will take the relevant measures to punish them, he concluded. The Guled Stadium hosted a ceremony to hand over the lots of sports equipments to the various associations of the capital. The granting of these sports equipments is part of the organization of the summer tournaments organized annually by the heads of the associations and leaders of the respective districts of the capital and the interior regions. The prizes consist of footballs, basketballs, handballs, volleyballs, and nets. The event was held in the presence of the technical advisor of the department, the General Secretary, the Director of Sports, the Director of the Guled Stadium, as well as the presidents of the Djiboutian Football Federation and Kung Fu and guests. This action aims to offer young people a moment of relaxation after a long period of confinement due to the coronavirus. She hammered the Secretary General of the Department, Mrs. Khadija Ibrahim Idris. On this occasion, the Secretary of State for Youth and Sports, Hassan Mohamed Kamil, wants to popularize the favorite sport of Djiboutian youth in particular and the world in general, and this is in line with the policy of the head of state, the full supporter of the national sport. Obituary: we have learned of the death of the late Hassan Ibrahim Ajab, born in 1958 in Djibouti. The late Hassan Ibrahim Ajab left behind 7 children. He was a retired former agent of the National Gendarmerie. He is a brother of the head of the RTD TV group, Mr. Ismail Ajab. We extend our sincere condolences to the family and loved ones of the deceased and pray to the good Lord to welcome him in his eternal paradise. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Moving on to the international news. The city of Bergamo, Italy, can celebrate after being one of the most affected by the coronavirus epidemic. The intensive care unit of the hospital of Bergamo is free of COVID-19 cases for the first time since the beginning of the crisis. The news was greeted on the spot by minutes silence and then a glamour joy. But Italy does not want to make mistakes by being too confident. The European Union has drawn up a list of 15 countries whose travelers are allowed to cross borders, so one could infer that the others are banned. But it is not that simple, they said, because there are many exceptions. The Italian government has therefore just specified a list of 13 countries that are banned: Armenia, Bahrain, Bangladesh, Brazil, Bosnia-Herzegovina, Chile, Kuwait, Northern Macedonia, Moldova, Oman, Panama, Peru, in the Dominican Republic. Anyone who has stayed or passed through these countries in the last 14 days will not be allowed to enter or transit in Italy, except for Italians who must be quarantined for 2 weeks. And that's all for this news. Thank you for being with us on the radio television of Djibouti and have a wonderful evening.